Hello my dear children, welcome to your English class. Today we are going to discuss a lesson from our textbook First Flight, and this lesson has two parts. So first of all we have to discuss the first part of the lesson, and the name of the lesson is The 100 Dresses 1, and it is written by Elston. Okay. So here, as I said, this lesson has two parts, and the main characters of this story is Wanda Petronsky, Peggy, Madeline, Miss Mason, and Petronsky. These three were the school students. Wanda Petronsky, Peggy, and Madeline. Madeline was known by in the story. She is called as Maddie. So Wanda, Peggy and Maddie, they were classmates. And how these two girls, Peggy and Maddie, how these two girls evaluate Wanda, and how these girls tease Wanda, and what all things happen to Wanda Petronsky. That is saying in this lesson. Okay, and Miss Mason is their teacher, and Petronsky is father of Wanda Petronsky. And here the story is sensitive, and it is saying that how a poor girl is judged by her classmates. How a poor girl, here the poor girl is Wanda Petronsky. How she is judged by her classmates, Peggy and Maddie. And here Wanda is a young girl, and she is from Polish family. She is a girl from Polish family who is studying in an American school with American students. So her name is a different one for these girls. Not only these two, the students of the class. So for them, her name Wanda Petronsky is a variety name. She's different from the remaining students. So they teased these girls along with the remaining classmates, teased the girl, and what happened to the girl? Let's go through the story and let's know about the girl. Okay. Today, Monday, Wanda Petronsky was not in her seat, but nobody, not even Peggy and Madeline, the girls who started all the fun, noticed her absence. Usually, Wanda sat in the seat next to the last seat in the last row in room 13. She sat in the corner of the room where the rough boys who did not make good marks sat. The corner of the room where there was most scuffling of feet, most roars of laughter when anything funny was said, and most mud and dirt on the floor. Wanda did not sit there because she was rough and noisy. On the contrary, she was very quiet and rarely said anything at all, and nobody had ever heard her laugh out loud. Sometimes she twisted her mouth into a crooked sort of smile, but that was all. So here she is saying the story is about this arranged in a classroom, and this story now it takes place in a classroom, and that was on Monday, and Wanda Petronsky was not there in the class, but nobody noticed that. Even these two girls, Peggy and Maddie, both of them also didn't notice Wanda was absent. Wanda didn't come to the class, that they didn't notice. Till that time no one noticed. And they were in room number 13. Their class was in room number 13. And she sat, Wanda always she is sitting in the last row where the rough boys were sitting. And so in their class, the boys, those who are not at all ready to listen or not at all doing any work, not obeying others, and they are very rough and tough, they were sitting in the last row. So here Wanda also usually she also was sitting in the last row of her class, and it is not because she is a rough girl. She is not a rough girl. She is very quiet and very calm and quiet. Vanda did not sit there because she was rough and noisy. On the contrary, she was very quiet and rarely said anything at all. She was very quiet, very silent. She is not speaking to all. Very rarely she is speaking to someone. And her laugh also. They couldn't hear the laughing sound of Vanda. She is not laugh out loud. Sometimes while laughing, if anything said by anyone as a joke, she is twisting her mouth twisting her mouth into a crooked sort of smile, as a foolish smile, like the grinning. And like this smile only she had. She is not at all laughing in a loud voice. Nobody knew exactly why Vanda sat in that seat, unless it was because she came all the way from Boggins Heights and her feet were usually caked with dry mud. But no one really thought much about Vanda Petronsky once she sat in the corner of the room. But here she is asking, the author is saying that nobody knew exactly why she was sitting. She is not at all rough girl. She is very quiet and very silent girl. And why she is sitting on the back side of or back bench, that no one knows about that. Nobody knew about that. And maybe it is because her legs are caked with dry mud. Legs are caked with dry mud means covered with dry mud, because she is coming from the Boggins Height. That's the place, her place, and that place the roads are fully muddy, and so her legs are caked with dry mud. Maybe because of that she is sitting in the last bench. But no one really thought about Vanda Petronsky. But no one in the classroom. They are not at all thinking of such a girl who is there in their classroom. And the time when they thought about Vanda was outside of school hours. At noontime, when they were coming back to school, or in the morning early before school began, when groups of 2 or 3 or even more would be talking and laughing on their way to the schoolyard. Then sometimes they waited for Vanda to have fun with her. So in the classroom, inside the classroom, no one was thinking about Vanda Petronsky. When they were thinking about Vanda Petronsky, only outside the class, at interval time, on the way to school or going to home. On that time only they were thinking about Vanda and saying or making fun of her. Maybe they were waiting for her in the schoolyard. The children were waiting for Vanda Petronsky to make fun of her. And the next day, Tuesday, Vanda was not in school either. And nobody noticed her absence again. The next day also she was absent, but no one noticed. But on Wednesday, Peggy and Mary, who sat down front with other children who got good marks and who didn't track in a whole lot of mud, did notice that Vanda wasn't there. Peggy was the most popular girl in school. She was pretty, she had many pretty clothes and her hair was curly. Mary was her close friend. The reason Peggy and Mary noticed Vanda's absence was because Vanda had made them late to school. They had waited and waited for Vanda to have some fun with her, and she just hadn't come. They often waited for Vanda Petronsky to have fun with her. So on Wednesday they got some papers, test papers. They got some papers and they got good marks. Peggy and Mary got good marks. And on that day they noticed that Vanda was not there in the classroom. And why they noticed? Because of her, because of Vanda, both of these girls, Peggy and Mary, both of them were late to the class. And why they were late to the class? They waited for Vanda to make fun with her. To tease Vanda, they waited for her. On the way to school, these two girls waited for Vanda to make fun with her. So she didn't come. So both of them were late to the class. Vanda Petronsky, most of the children in room 30 didn't have names like that. They had names easy to say, like Thomas, Smith or Alan. There was one boy named Bounce, Willie Bounce, and people thought that was funny, but not funny in the same way that Petronsky was. So here saying about the name. Her name was different from the girls or the students of their class. Some of the students have names like Thomas, Alan. It is very easy to call. And her name, Vanta Petronsky, was different for them. And in their class, one boy was there. His name is Willie Bounce. And that also they are saying about different. But it is not at all different like this, Petronsky. It was a rare name. So, like her name, no one has the name. No one has a different name like Vanta Petronsky. Okay. And Vanta did not have any friends. She came to school alone and went home alone. She always wore a faded blue dress and that didn't hang right. It was clean, but it looked as though it had never been ironed properly. She didn't have many friends, but a lot of girls talked to her. Sometimes they surrounded her in the schoolyard and she stood watching a little girls play hopscotch on the worn hard ground. So Vanta did not have any friends. She doesn't have any friends, but more children are there to talk to her. More children are surrounding her to talk to her. And her dress, she is always wearing a faded blue color dress. A blue color dress she is wearing, and it is not at all fit for her, or not didn't fit properly for her. Which means it is not good looking good. It's not ironed, so it's not looking good for her. And she didn't have any friends, but a lot of girls talked to her. She doesn't have any friends. She didn't have any friends. But more children are there to talk to her. And why they were there? Sometimes they were in her schoolyard, and as she stood watching the little girls play hopscotch. So she is not at all playing with other girls. She was standing in a corner of the schoolyard, and she was watching the other girls were playing hopscotch. And while they were playing hopscotch, she was looking aside, or she was looking by standing in the schoolyard. Peggy would say in most courteous manner as though she were talking to Miss Mason. Vanta, she would say, giving one of her friends a nudge. Tell us, how many dresses did you say you had hanging up in your closet? So, Peggy will call Vanta in a very courteous way, in a respectful way. By giving most respect, she is calling Vanta's name. Vanta, can you please say how many dresses do you have in your room? How many dresses do you have? She is asking to Vanta as teasing her. 100, Vanta would say. 100? Exclaimed all the little girls incredulously, and the little ones would stop playing hopscotch and listen. Yeah, 100, all lined up, said Vanta. Then her thin lips drew together in silence. What are they like? All silk? I bet, said Peggy. Yeah, all silk, all colors. Velvet too? Yeah, velvet too, 100 dresses. Vanta would repeat stolidly. All lined up in my closet. Then they would let her go. And then before she had gone very far, they couldn't help bursting into shrieks and peals of laughter. 100 dresses. Obviously, the only dress Vanta had was the blue one she wore every day. So, why did she say she had 100? What a story. So, Peggy will call her and she is asking to her how many dresses she had. As an answer to her question, Vanta will say that she had 100 dresses. She had 100 dresses, and no one is ready to believe. All are exclaimed and all of them are asking, 100 dresses? Do you have 100 dresses? Is it real? Then Peggy, by confirming that or by proving that she doesn't have 100 dresses, she is asking more and more questions. And she is asking, what kind of dresses are there? All are silk? velvet? Without any problem or without any change in the mood or without any change in her face, she is saying that yeah, 100 dresses I have, and I have velvet and silk dresses too. All are well arranged in my room, in my cupboard. All are there in my cupboard. Vanta will say like that. And no one is ready to believe. While she has gone from there, by saying this, Vanta gone from there. When she went from there, all of them started to laugh by saying to themselves that 100 dresses she had. No, I didn't think so, because already we said that she is wearing a blue dress, a faded blue dress every day to school. So here Peggy said that no, she doesn't have 100 dresses, only she had the blue dress. And why she said this, what a story it is, why did she say she had 100 dresses? They are asking to themselves. How many shoes did you say you had? So they are not at all ready to leave Vanta. They are asking more and more questions to her. How many shoes did you say you had? 60 pairs, all lined up in my closet. Cries of exaggerated politeness greeted this. All alike. Oh no, every pair is different, all colors, all lined up. So after asking about the dresses, Peggy asked about her shoes. How many pairs of shoes do you have? And she said 60 pairs. Oh, 60 pairs of shoes. She's not ready to believe. And she said, all are same color? Then what is the reply of Vanta? She said, no, all are different. All colors are there and all are well arranged there in my cupboard. Peggy, who had thought of this game, and Maddie, her inseparable friend, were always the last to leave. Finally, Vanta would move up the street, her eyes dull and her mouth closed, twitching her left shoulder every now and then in the funny way she had, finishing the walk to school alone. Peggy was not really cruel. She protected small children from bullies. She cried for hours if she saw an animal mistreated. If anybody had said to her, don't you think that this is a cruel way to treat Vanta, she would have been very surprised. Why did the girl say she had 100 dresses? Anybody could tell that was a lie. Why did she want to lie? And she wasn't just an ordinary person else. Why she did say she did have a name like that. Anyway, they never made her cry. So here, by asking all these questions, after answering all these questions, Vanta left from there, and the remaining girls, all the girls also except the two, Peggy and Maddie, both of them were staying there, and they were the persons to leave the yard at last. Till that they were there. And when she was moving back to her home, she was alone. Vanta was alone, and she was not at all talking to anyone else, and very silently she was moving to her home. And it is saying about, the next paragraph is saying about Peggy. Peggy, even though she was very interested to teasing Vanta, she was not at all cruel. She was very kind and very humble towards small kids and also animals. She liked humans and animals also. Even though she is very interested in asking questions to Vanta. And she said that why she is saying that, her reason is, Peggy's reason is, why she is saying that she has 100 dresses. Why she said a lie. All of us know that it's a lie. Then why she is saying a lie? What is the reason to say a lie? That was the question of Peggy. Peggy likes animals and kids also, animals and humans also. And she was not at all a cruel child. She was not cruel, and when anyone is asking about why did you tease Vanta like this, or why did you cruel like this to Vanta, and anyway they never made her cry, or she is not at all accept the comments or the answers of Vanta Petronsky about her dresses and shoes. So that is the problem of Peggy with Vanda. Why she is saying lies? As for Maddie, this business of asking Vanda every day how many dresses and how many hats and how many this and that, and she had bothering her. Maddie was poor herself. She usually wore somebody's hand-me-down clothes. Thank goodness she didn't live upon in Bergen's Heights or have a funny name. So, her companion Maddie, she is not at all interested asking these next questions to Vanda. She is also a poor girl from a poor family. She is also from a poor family, and her dress is also given by somebody. Somebody's used dresses are used by Madeline. She is wearing such dresses to school, and she is also a from a poor family, and she is not at all interested to asking more and more questions. How is how much is this? How much is that? So like these questions, she is not at all interested to ask you. Vanda Petronsky. But here she is saying that very thanks to God that she doesn't have a prior name or a different name, and she is not from the place where Vanda Petronsky was living. Sometimes when Peggy was asking Vanda those questions in that mocking polite voice, Mary felt embarrassed and studied and marbles in the palm of her hand, rolling them around and saying nothing herself. Not that she felt sorry for Vanda exactly. She would never have paid any attention to Vanda if Peggy hadn't invented the dresses game. But suppose Peggy and all others started in her own midst. She wasn't as poor as Vanda perhaps, but she was poor. Of course she would have more sense than to say she had 100 dresses. Still, she would not like for them to begin on her. She wished Peggy would stop teasing Vanda Petronsky. So, sometimes when Peggy was asking Vanda those questions in that mocking polite voice, Mary felt embarrassed and studied the marbles in her palm that will rolling down around them, rolling it from her hand. So, while Peggy was asking all these questions to Vanda, she was not giving any attention to that. She was just looking at the marbles, the piece of stone which is used to play the hopscotch. And she was just looking at them, and she was playing with that, rolling it with that. She is not at all interested to ask such questions to Vanda Petronsky. But at the same time, she had fear that if Peggy will ask any questions to her about her or about her dresses, that also make a problem to Maddie. That also a problem to her. And she is saying that still but she was poor, but she was not as poor as Vanda Petronsky. And she can say that she had 100 dresses, but she is not at all ready to ask such a questions to herself. So Mary is thinking that if anyone asks any questions like this to me, no, I am not ready to answer these much questions. I am not interested to ask these much questions to anyone, and no one to ask to me also. She wished Peggy would stop teasing Vanda. So her wish is to stop teasing Vanda. And today, even though they had been late to school, Maddie was glad she had not had to make fun of Vanda. She worked her arithmetic problems absent-mindedly. 8 times 8, let's see. She wished she had the nerve to write Peggy a note, because she knew she never would have the courage to speak right out to Peggy, to say, "Hey Peg, let's stop asking Vanda how many dresses she has." When she finished her arithmetic, she started a note to Peggy. Suddenly she paused and shuddered. She pictured herself in the schoolyard, a new target for Peggy and the girls. Peggy might ask her where she got the dress and that she had on, and Maddie would have to say it was one of Peggy's old ones that Maddie's mother had tried to disguise. New trimmings, so no one in room 13 would recognize it. So here she said that on that day, Rose when on that day she was absent, Vanda was absent and we were late to class, that we said. So on that day she felt very happy. Mary was very happy because today Peggy can't tease Vanda because she was absent. And while she was doing her maths problems, she was very absent-minded. Absent-minded means she is not at all giving much more concentration on that problem. She is very absent-minded and she was doing, and while doing these problems, why she is absent-minded while doing the problem, she was thinking about the teasing of Peggy to Vanda. She wants to say to Peggy that to stop the teasing of Vanda, but she doesn't have the courage, because if Mary asked Peggy to stop teasing Vanda, she may ask the same questions to her. Peggy may ask the same questions to Mary. Where did she got the dress? The dress she put on or she wore. Where did she got that dress? Where did she get the dress? So she may say the answer. It is one of the old dress of Peggy itself. She wore the dresses of Peggy, and Peggy's mother gave these dresses to Mary's mother, and her mother made some cuttings and some adjustments in the dress to disguise it from Peggy's dress. So some students may notice that, oh, I saw this dress worn by Peggy. So without saying or to avoid such comments, her mother, Mary's mother, made some cuttings and trimmings and new trimmings on the dress. And if only Peggy would decide of her own accord to stop her fun with Vanda, oh well, Mary ran her hand though her short blonde hair was as though to push the uncomfortable thoughts away. And what difference it made? Slowly Mary tore into bits and know that she started. And she was Peggy's best friend, and Peggy was the best liked girl in the school and the whole room. Peggy would not possibly do anything that was really wrong, she thought. So she started to write a note while doing the problem. While after completing the problem, she started to write a note to Peggy to stop about the teasing of Vanda, to stop the teasing of Vanda. But she tore the papers, and she thought, oh, when I am asking about this to Vanda, when I asked her to stop this to Peggy, she may ask some questions to me. And she is the most popular girl in the class. All the students in the class liked Peggy very much. So all will support her. No one will support me. So I will be alone in this class. Like Vanda, I will be alone in the class. So she is not at all ready to ask any questions against Peggy's actions. As for Vanda, she was just some girl who lived up on Boggins Heights and stood alone in the schoolyard. She scarcely ever said anything to anybody. The only time she talked was in the schoolyard about her 100 dresses. Mary remembered her telling about one of her dresses, pale blue with colour trimming, and she remembered another that was brilliant jungle green with a red sash. You'd like a Christmas tree in that, the girls had said in the pretended admiration. So here, Vanda was saying about comparing about Peggy and Vanda. Mary was comparing about Peggy and Vanda. Mary said Peggy was the most popular girl in the classroom. When I speak anything against her action, I will be alone. But in the case of Vanda, she already alone in the class. She was as a normal girl or as another one among the other girls. But Peggy, my best friend, if I am saying anything to her, it may hurt me also. She may ask some questions to me and it will hurt me. So, and Vanda, she is never speaking anything to anyone. Only rarely she is speaking something to somebody. And the only occasion she is saying anything that about her 100 dresses. And one day when she remembered, Mary remembered that was a brilliant jungle green red sash. You looked like a Christmas tree in that. So one day she wore a dress. She said that, oh, you like a Christmas tree. And she wore a red sash on her, red sash was there on her dress. and that said it was as a pretended admiration. It's not because it is not really an encouragement or not a real admiration, a pretended one. Thinking about Wanda, her 100 dresses all lined in the closet, Maddie began to wonder who was going to win the drawing and coloring contest for girls. For girls, this contest consisted of designing dresses, and for boys of designing motorboats. Probably Peggy would win the girls' medal. Peggy drew better than anyone else in the room. At least that's what everybody thought. She could copy the picture in a magazine or some film stars had so that you could almost tell who it was. Oh, Maddie was sure Peggy would win. Well, tomorrow the teacher was going to announce the winners. Then they would know. So here she is saying that about a drawing competition was there, and so it was for boys and girls there was a drawing competition, drawing and coloring competition. For girls it was a designing of dresses, and for boys it was about motorboats. So who will win this prize? So everybody in the class thought that from girls it will get to Peggy itself, right? Because she is very good in drawing and coloring, and so everybody thought that the result or the prize will get to Peggy herself. The next day it was drizzling. Maddie and Peggy was hurried to school under Peggy's umbrella. Naturally, on day like this, they didn't wait for Wanda Petronsky on the corner of Oliver Street, the street that far away under railroad tracks and the hill led to Boggin's Heights. Anyway, they weren't taking chances on being late today because today was important. The next day on the way to school, it was drizzling, and Peggy and Maddie, both of them are hurried to school under Peggy's umbrella. By using one umbrella, both of them are going to school, and on that day they are not ready to wait for Wanda Petronsky because that day has some importance. And what is the importance of that day? Do you think Miss Mason will announce the winners today? Yeah, on that day the teacher will announce the winner of the drawing competition. So she is asking, Peggy is asking, do you think the teacher will announce the result today? Oh, I hope so, the minute we get in. Of course you will win, Peg. So Maddie said, of course you will be the winner. She is saying to Peggy, hope so. So Peggy also had the same hope. The minute they entered the classroom, they stopped short and gasped. There were drawings all over the room, on every ledge and windowsill, dazzling colors and brilliant, lavish designs, all drawn on great sheets of wrapping paper. There must have been 100 of them, all lined up. These must be the drawings of the contest. They were. Everybody stopped and whistled and murmured admiringly. So here, the minute when they entered the class, they were shocked to see the drawings. All the walls were decorated, or the walls were well arranged with the drawings. Some drawings of some dresses, very fine colored dresses, are arranged. They all were wrapped in. They all were drawn in a wrapping paper, covering paper. In that covering paper, all the pictures drawn and that were arranged in the classroom. As soon as the class was assembled, Miss Mason announced the winners. Jack Beggles, he had won for the boys, she said, and his design for an outboard motor was on exhibition in room 12, along with the sketches by all other boys. So, from the boys, Jack Beggles won the prize, and his design were there in the exhibition hall in room 12 and along with the other boys. And as for the girls, she said, although just 1 or 2 sketches were submitted by most, one girl and room 13 should be proud of her. This one girl actually drew 100 designs, all different and all beautiful. In the opinion of the judges, any one of the drawings is worthy of winning the prize. I am very happy to say that Wanda Petronsky is the winner of the girls' medal. So here the teacher announced the results of girls. So she said, most of you submitted one or two, but one girl, except one girl, all of you submitted one or two drawings. And that girl, she submitted 100 drawings, 100 designs, and 100 were different. And the judges have no confusion to select anyone from them or anyone from the girls. And the judges all together, they selected the name. And the teacher said, I am very happy and very proud to say the name or to announce the name. And thus, Wanda Petronsky, she is the winner of the girls drawing competition. Unfortunately, Wanda has been absent from school for some days and is not here to receive the applause that is due to her. Let's hope she will be back tomorrow. Now class, you may file around the room quietly and look at her exquisite drawings. So here teacher said, but unfortunately she is absent for some more days, and we hope that the next day she will come and we will applause her, we will congratulate her on the very next day. And now the teacher allowed the girls to see the pictures or see the designs of Wanda Petronsky. The children burst into applause, and even the boys were glad to have a chance to stamp on the floor, put their fingers on their mouths and whistle, though they were not interested in dresses. So even the boys also, they are also very interested to see the pictures, and they also very liked to see the pictures, and they expressed their happiness by whistling and by making sounds. Look back, whispered Maggie. There's the blue one she told us about. Isn't it beautiful? So, while seeing the pictures, while seeing the drawings of Wanda, Mary showed a picture to Peg and asked, look, that's the blue one she told us. She told us about a blue dress, and it is that. Oh, it is really beautiful, isn't it? Yes, said Peggy. And here is that green one. What? And I thought I could draw. So here, Peggy is calling Mary as boy. Hey, here what? Just look, here that green one also. You told her about one green one like a Christmas tree, and that design also here. So it is very good. So these two girls were very surprised to see the pictures, to see the drawings of Wanda Petronsky, and they were watching the scenes or the drawings of Wanda Petronsky. Okay.